Welcome, my beloved friends, to a new era with a deep division between people with different opinions in new era? New? In art. Ones will embrace new forms of art and expression, and the others will be reticent to change, reactive, and afraid. And they don't like reasons. This video is for creators, artists, filmmakers, but it can be translated to any profession sensible to be altered by AI. All of them, basically. In this video, we're going to see: do witch hunt against AI? Why is it a good moment to start using AI and study your craft? And what am I going to do about it? The artistic community have raised their knives and prepared to destroy a new horror indie film called Late Night with the Devil, which used AI-generated images to enhance the 1970s aesthetic. To be more precise, 3 frames of title cards generated by AI in the whole movie. 3. The public is raging because they used the new technology after the movie was finished, disclosing that they had a lot of time to choose another alternative to create these frames. The human alternative, I suspect. This example ignited in me the following cascade of insights. We humans have always been resistant to adapt new technologies. We are afraid of what is new and can potentially harm us. This is nothing new. The printing press was first invented in Europe in the mid-15th century, but its impact on the Islamic world was minimal until the late 19th century and early 20th century. The slow adoption of the printing press by Muslims was due to a combination of practical, cultural, and religious factors. There was a concern that the widespread distribution of heretical or false information could result from the mass production of printed materials. Through history, there has been radical movements against change that threaten people's security and income. These movements illustrate the resistance against technological change and its impact on society. Ludism was a philosophy opposing forms of modern technology. The Ludites were an English movement in the beginning of the 1800s that destroyed mills, pieces of machinery, and industrial equipment, objecting the rising popularity of automated textile equipment, which threatened jobs and livelihoods of skilled workers. The anti-tractor forces in the early 1900s were producers and traders of draft animals that feared mechanization, which threatened their way of life. The organization Horse Association of America distributed literature declaring that a mule is the only foolproof tractor ever built. Is this AI witch hunt that we're seeing right now fair? In this specific case, I don't think so. An indie movie that used 3 frames of AI has been teared to pieces. Blockbusters use machine computers that allow people to create amazing things that they wouldn't be able to do without these tools. 30 years ago, these shots were unimaginable, or required a huge team of human artisans to create specific scenes, locations, attrezzo, objects, characters, etc. Animation softwares are getting more capable and efficient than ever, thus not requiring large human teams. But nobody talks about this. The following years are going to be a clusterfuck of hate, anger, judgmental criticism, with masses blindly destroying differences in thought and opinion. I'm not stating here that having a contrary view is a bad thing. On the contrary, it is a very good thing. What worries me is the era of radicalized social movements, increasingly divided society, fake news, and palpable anger we're living in. When we make decisions or position ourselves based on ego or fear, nothing good comes from it. As I said in the past video, AI is not going anywhere. Through history, humans have collectively ingrained the idea of waves in their subconscious. We can find them in the all-time huge natural disasters, biblical stories, art metaphors, and when we refer to technical advancements. These waves are unstoppable and expand everywhere in the world, like fire, electricity, or cars did. The newer the technology, the faster it spreads. It took thousands of years to adapt agriculture in the world, and 20 years for the internet to be in almost every home. In time, the prices of these technologies go down, the ease of use increases, and the adoption is total. This is what happened with computers, digital phones, and cameras. New technologies will start blending with other existing ones and will reshape society and how people interact with each other. New forms of art will be born from these technologies, and people will find new ways to express themselves and communicate. I'm sure that it's going to come something like the new wave of digital abstract surrealism. I should trademark that. How quickly a technology is being embraced, or the importance and force of this new technology, will show how profoundly this technology could alter our lives. ChatGPT reached 1 million users just 5 days after launching in November 2022. Our new reality is that AI is transitioning from sci-fi tales to deeply infiltrating our lives. Scary. AI video, Sora, or whatever comes in the future will change society and industries forever. To create these videos, you don't need to go to the locations, pay the crew or material expenses, etc. Who can compete against that? It will democratize the creative process and the production of projects will blow up. The only limit is going to be your imagination. From all the vast amount of new projects, how many people do you think that they're going to have some kind of knowledge about the art form they're experiencing with? A lot of people with no education in the visual arts are going to start creating projects and a lot of new movies. I would say that from all of this production, only 10% will be created by film enthusiasts. And from this 10%, maybe 2% are going to be professionals that work in the film industry. How much of the movie industry workers' personnel do you think will adopt these new technologies with optimism and enthusiasm at the beginning of this unstoppable wave or change? Let's be very optimistic. 25%? 1 every 4? I would say that at the beginning, the grand majority will be very pissed off at this change, and with reason. If you like filmmaking and you never had the possibility to work on it or study it, I would say that now is a good moment to start doing it. And if you want to go even deeper, who has nowadays the patience to study the old directors that knew how to use the visual language so effectively and use their knowledge to create amazing stuff? But why making the effort if machines will replace us? In my personal experience, I've put more than 10 years of my life into studying cinema and the visual arts. And now it feels like all of it was for nothing. I understand the discouragement for people that have been learning about it with the dream of directing something, believe me. But think about your skills. You have the ability to think cinematographically, with images. You understand the language, the medium, etc. It is not as bad as it seems. Is all that I studied lost? No. Don't stop learning stuff. To make these new tools shine, we'll need somebody with specific knowledge behind them, so we can be as effective as possible. Like in being effective with prompting a specific GPT. You have to know the language to get the best answer. What we can do is adapt AI and make our skills more powerful. These new tools can be the ones that allow us to create stuff with no barriers or limitations. Personal projects that can be seen by film production companies that potentially will give us opportunities in whatever the film industry looks like in a few years. Look what happened with this movie. It's an indie movie that shot 99% by professionals, but they have used AI to complete 3 frames. The only positive thing about all this buzz is that this is free attention for the movie. And nowadays, this is gold. This situation has given the film a huge amount of free advertisement. People are curious and they may want to see the movie now. This situation, clusterfuck of hate, anger, and judgmental criticism is going to be very, very common. AI art will have a bad stigma for a long time and it is not going to be considered art. For now. Again, this is nothing new. When photography, cinema, and even video games came, they were not considered as art forms at all. Movies took years and years to be seen as art. During Hitchcock's film career, his movies were seen as merely moronic entertainment for the big masses, not like masterpieces as we can state now.
Thank you.
Now that I'm talking about Hitchcock, let me niche down. To all frustrated horror filmmakers out there, this is for you. I see a unique opportunity for the horror genre, which can benefit immensely from the surreal qualities offered by these new technologies. This genre thrives on the uncanny and the unnatural, elements that AI can amplify in groundbreaking ways. In the book The Philosophy of Horror or Paradoxes of the Heart by Noel Carroll, the author describes horror through the lenses of psychology and behavior. Uncanny things that violate the rules of nature, are horrifying. Look at this video again. This is a complete violation of the rules of nature. And that is one of the reasons why you can feel a certain uncanny feeling while watching this. When we start blending stuff that should be walking in the ground and put them in a complete different, unnatural place, there's where the magic happens. Horror genre can take a huge advantage from this new surreal form of art that allows AI video generation. My point is, don't ignore this change and try to find your place in it, respectfully going against the grain. If you think that I'm not worried, you're wrong. But I'm focusing on staying positive and adapt to these changes as soon and efficiently as I can. It is important to have control over how these machines are creating this art. Be aware of copyright infringements, etc. But it could be dangerous to be waiting for some laws that we can end up using as a trench for our fear that will give us a momentary false sense of security. People, society, companies, managers, leaders must decide how to commit themselves to reorganizing work and life around AI in ways that help rather than hurt their human fellows, siblings, neighbors, or workers. We should agree on that, but it seems that the ground is not prepared to take on healthy discussions. Big artistic names in their respective industries may survive this wave without the need for adaptation. Small ones, on the other hand, we'll have to embrace change to stay alive. I just wanted to share with you guys my thoughts about the upcoming AI witch hunt and hopefully introduce a little bit of optimism in this boiling ocean of fear and anger that will probably get hotter and hotter in the upcoming years. I am trying to think carefully if this aversion to AI is created by my ego or my fear. Fear to the changes that will come with this new technology. In doing that, I'm trying to stay more humble while I'm creating, and this feels very nice. These tools will make us feel more creative, have fun with creativity, and I think that this is something really good. It takes us back to when we were children and we would spend time creating for creation's sake, and fun, not to make money or an ego-related bullshit to impress others. My mental shifts: start playing with it, have fun, work on being adaptable, and cultivate your habit to learn new stuff and being efficient applying it. I have a list of videos and ideas that now I'll be able to create, and this is not a bad thing. I will start playing around with these tools as soon as they come and create music videos for the songs I created with my band. So here we have it. We are at the beginning of a new transformational era in art. AI is changing everything and nobody knows what the right move is. So what are you going to do? Stay positive and adapt? Or click the next video you see on screen of the adaptation of my favorite Edgar Allan Poe short story I did with AI tools. Check it out if you have what it takes. Stay kind.